Yep.
You gotta save your counter pick for the guy who, yeah, I mean.
Sometimes it just happens, and look.
We just saw this matchup, and I mean, Summit did so much more in the game.
Not in the earlier stages. He did get solo killed.
Yeah, well, this
that
time
happened.
Summit is going to be like, okay, I can't fight him at level 9 with these items. I would hope.
Well, yeah. But I'd like to think that he knew that before. So these are your comps. Certainly some scaling on SANDBOX's side, and you know, Jhin does a lot of damage, but with a big burly Trundle to contend with, it might be more difficult for the Jhin to reach his full potential.
Yeah, Jhin is absolutely a difficult composition for him to go up against. You're going to be dodging pillars, bubbles, barrels, cannon barrages, traps, bindings. There's going to be a million things flying at you, and obviously they have a lot of range as well. You can even reach with GP with your own barrels and the cannon barrage, as aforementioned, but same as game 1 where you've got the Caitlyn Zoe combo. But this time with extra range with the Morgana.
You also have to hit your curtain call from really far away, because you know the Trundle pillar can block you out of it. You can also just be standing on top of the cannon barrage, and theoretically it doesn't matter how far you're standing, that's global. So you're going to be hit by that anyway, but might be able to tank up a few barrages. I do like the comp, and I do like the Gangplank just in general, as we'll see whether Gen.G can overcome it here in order to hold on to their chances of staying in 3rd place. Does rely on T1 in our 2nd matchup of the night. They'll be facing Afrika. And if T1 beat Afrika and SANDBOX beat Gen.G, then SANDBOX's chances of going to playoffs rise even higher.
Yes, very true. And this is going to be crunch time for a lot of the teams you just mentioned. I mean, T1, they have... Okay, this is a little bit distracting.
It's too many arms, man.
Jhin is just... Ooh, they got the bass in there, too.
Yeah, I actually didn't know his dance was so funky. Crab rave. Alright, well, at least they're still having fun.
The music. Let's just play that for the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, the schedules are it's definitely crunch time, right? Especially for T1, they have Dalmon next week and DRX.
Yeah, their last week is a toughie.
It's going to be difficult for them. They've been slowly ramping up with Closer in the mid lane, and it's been looking good so far, but he's going to go into some really experienced mid laners that are probably better than him right now, and they're not going to be able to rely on him to just carry up against the weaker side of the LCK anymore. So, but every loss that Gen.G takes definitely gives T1 an opportunity to potentially climb.
See Ruler holding onto his last bullet, and Gen.G have been able to shove in the Caitlyn Morgana so far. Let's see how Gen.G cope with this lane. A binding's going to miss, and that's certainly a good way of doing it, as Life going to move on forward. It's a lot of damage with that Q follow-up as well. And that's not how you're supposed to deal with this lane. Great max range spear there from Life, who's been putting in some time, obviously, on this Pantheon support. You don't really want to be farming with max range peacemakers as Caitlyn in the early games. Not generally how it goes, as Rascal's taken a fair bit of damage, but OnFleek's going to move on in after clearing the ward. And there's a really good pillar. He might just be dead. Flash comes out after the slice and dice, and the flash forward from OnFleek. He really wants to be able to get him here, as there's the flash forward, and Summit's going to die, but he's going to be executed, so it doesn't really matter. Axe is going to miss there, as OnFleek, remember, doesn't have his flash. And there's the max range undertow.
Pillar 1 second.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! He puts it in the way. Clid, he's going to be able to line it up. He doesn't have a lot of mana, as he's going to wait. And Summit's teleport comes back in, and SANDBOX, they save their jungler. And they also confirm a lot of control topside, so really good start here from SANDBOX.
Some fun plays, indeed, as we were diving turrets. I really don't understand why Rascal reapproached the lane. like,
yeah, I don't know.
saw Trundle, and he's like, okay, you're clearing out my ward, I'll back off. And it was pushing into him, by the way. This is something we talk about all the time. Why are you stepping up again? And he's like, oh yeah, I should be able to get out with a, you know, slice and dice, I'll be okay. Absolutely was not the case.
He wasn't okay with slice dice flash.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know?
Ooh, here we go. Counter gank coming in from OnFleek.
Yeah,
double barrel.
Great double barrel. As OnFleek comes in with a pillar. It's a little bit more defensive than I was expecting, but Clid's still taking a lot of damage. Teleport will come down from Fate, who's pretty low, but he's still going to be able to grab the kill. And Rascal down to half health. BDD unable to answer back, and SANDBOX 2-0 in this early game.
There you go. OnFleek, he had a pretty weak game number 2, but this time around, he was able to make his aggressive jungle path work up on the top side to a little bit of aggressiveness from Rascal. And then the follow-up counter gank was really nice. You can see he's really far behind on CS because of the way he's playing, but it ends up paying off for his team. I mean, Trundle isn't a champion that requires a lot of farm and needs big item spikes or anything like that. As Rascal, it's pushing into you. Don't reapproach the lane. He's forced to flash after, you know, not slicing and dicing early as well. This is just not very well played from Rascal, and SANDBOX were able to capitalize here. Now, Summit is probably going to lose some XP because it was pushing away from him, but that's okay. As here's the follow-up on OnFleek right on time.
That barrel value was absolutely immense. That was what helped them get enough damage to take down Clid. And Fate being able to find an advantage here, also not losing out too much on CS either, as the teleport was followed up by BDD also, so he wasn't in that lane either, and as you can see, things very, very even. Gangplank's still behind, as the minion wave was in a very awkward spot when that gank started, which is why there is such difference. But now it's shoving in, and GP definitely more concerned about later stages of the game, not necessarily in the earlier portion. Also makes more money, because that's just what pirates do.
All the pirates here.
Pirates and gamblers. I feel like...
Why doesn't MF... MF doesn't have anything in her kit that gets her...
extra money, no.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
She's like the one pirate that was left out.
I mean, Pyke is also a bit of a pirate, but he also gives you extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Are there any other pirates?
I mean, there are pirate skins, but I don't think there are pirate theme champions.
Pirate theme champion. Yeah, there's only 4, I guess. Unless there's one big one we're forgetting.
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe the collective knows. I mean, they do know everything. Graves?
Graves? Is he a pirate? No, he's not a pirate.
He's like more of a cowboy type thing. It's gangster.
What is Graves? I don't know the lore. We need lore specialists here for that.
Graves is cool. That's what Graves is.
Yeah, he's cool. He's
yeah.
That's his class.
I think if he was a pirate, he wouldn't have a cigar. He'd have a pipe. You know?
Yeah.
You think about it.
And maybe like a bird on his shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Yar.
That's more of like
Is Swain a pirate then? He does have a bird on his shoulder.
That's a good question.
And he speaks kind of pirate. I know based on his lore, absolutely not a pirate. But he's got a peg leg and a bird on his shoulder. I mean, if anything screams pirate, I don't know what else does.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm struggling here myself. You know, maybe he's got a little bit of an identity crisis going on.
Yeah. He's like a Noxian scientist, isn't he?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So
he built science.
You know what we really need is an MMO.
So we can get all these NPCs in the right spot.
Or
we got to talk about the game for a second. Is Root and Gorilla getting traded on? But yes, no, back to you.
Some kind of, you know, lore building that lets people like learn about the stories of the champions. As Gorilla is just taking a beating.
He took all of those bullets to the back of the head. Shout out to him for surviving. Ruby Crystal putting in work. The Jhin certainly laning very effectively at this stage. But the Caitlyn still picking up some farm. And as you can see, Summit with a much better position on his minion wave. It's not going to help them get Shelly or anything like that. But BDD, he managed to get the shove mid. They figured out exactly when Fate was resetting. And they will secure that Rift Herald. Also, Gen.G got the first Drake. So having a good time as passive comes out from Summit, and he will get a grass proc as well onto the Crocodile. Really like that timing.
Yeah, and he's already picked up a kill, right? So this time around, let's not take unnecessary trade Summit, and he's going to be even in a better position. He was trying really hard to carry on the GP in game number 2, but unfortunately wasn't quite able, even though he had a great game. And that was after all the laning shenanigans, so could be even better if you think about that.
Indeed. Well, let's see whether Root and Gorilla can get themselves a decent back timing. Looks like that might be what they're looking out for. He nets himself that last CS. Okay, there's the Dominus. Clid's going to turn up here towards the top side also. Eat some oranges is relatively K, but not going to survive the Cull the Meek. And the Gangplank taken down almost solo there by Rascal, to be honest, as I've seen that mistake before. Valdez?
Yeah, it's it was a good engage by Rascal, and Clid being there obviously did help in the end to flash and secure that kill. But that's, I suppose, what you pick the Renekton for safety in the lane, for ability to bully early to mid stage of the game. Obviously, he's not going to have as much value as the Gangplank later on, but if you can get a nice little lead, it's going to be nice. If you're just farming the top lane with Renekton, then why even pick him?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Generally what happens a lot of the time, which is why we question it a lot of the time, but we'll have to wait and see. I think that's also why Renekton gets picked a lot in other regions, because they fight a bit more, and Renekton's great at fighting early to mid, and get you some big leads.
Pantheon's skinnier than I thought, I guess. Yes, as the observers showed us, Root did have to flash as that curtain call came down. I believe that was due to life. Grand Sky falling in. Gorilla's going to face check. That's absolutely not what you want. Deadly Flourish comes down. Gorilla, going to flash out of the way. Doesn't get the extra stun. And that is going to mean it's a free kill for Gen.G. No follow-up available for OnFleek or Fate. The bubble not going to connect onto anyone as they're looking to pilfer some plates down here. And Gen.G will be able to. OnFleek walking over a ward. Looking to try and clear that one up. There's Summit with his oranges. Probably will be okay. Yeah, there is Shelly.
They're going to be picking up a lot of value here for their bottom lane. Just like split it between the jungler and Ruler.
Another Dominus, and Summit, he doesn't have Cannon Barrage available. That's just a solo kill for Rascal. Looks like he's snowballed just enough as the Dark Bindings need to hit Gorilla. As the flash out does eventuate anyway. Onto life. Bubble not going to connect. SANDBOX just not looking like they have it together here in game number 3. Certainly takes a lot in order to keep your heads in it. It's not over yet. Close to 12 minutes in. But we're moving towards a 2,000 gold lead, and if a Renekton gets this far ahead, then the Gangplank not going to look like as intelligent as a choice.
Intelligent is intelligent and relevant.
Yeah,
Intelligent.
I need an
intervention
based on my, my ability to speak
intervention.
English. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's definitely disappointing from Summit. We have seen Gangplank survive. You have to play a little bit safer. You have to play a little bit passive, right? You can't just run straight into the Renekton after taking trades, as we're going to see. Gorilla check here. It's weird timing because the dragon's not even up, and he just saw, like before this, they were clearing out the vision in that brush. So why are you face checking at level 6 as Morgana? Definitely a mistake from Gorilla. And this is Summit, he's trying to get in range to get some XP as the lane is pushing away from him. Why did the lane end up in this stage is another question, as scary Renekton. I don't know about diving him right now.
Yeah. OnFleek didn't actually throw out the Subjugate or anything like that. No flash for Summit, though, and that's why he has to play topside a little bit more. Back comes in from Rascal, and he can teleport if he wants to. May not even need to.
And Summit, you know, this is the thing about GP is, like, even though he got dumpstered in lane, like, just straight up, he made a couple mistakes and got killed a couple times, he's still probably relatively even on gold because he is GP and he's going to scale better. So this is the thing about GP where it's like, Obviously, Renekton is going to have a more fun time in the lane. He can counter you early, but the GP is just going to offer so much value as the game does come along, and you just get more and more money. And so, Summit, you know, the main thing for him is to not get tilted because of the laning phase. He should know that, yes, okay, as the game comes along, I'm going to be in a pretty nice spot.
Speaking of nice spots, Fate, the only one on SANDBOX with a gold lead against B2D's Azir, is no mean feat. Puddle comes down on top of Clid. The binding comes in here, has to Ragnarok, as OnFleek probably didn't want to go that direction, as I believe that was procced elsewhere, or it was a mistake. Now looking for more, but not able to find anything. Cannon Barrage is now on cooldown, and so now Summit's dead. And Rascal going to get slowed, but is going to flash.
Is that another solo kill?
Yeah, it is.
Oh boy, yeah, Summit's scratching his head. That's kind of how I feel too. Yeah, well,
looking bot lane to try and get your ulti down, and unfortunately, the crocodile comes out of the reeds.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. And Ruler.
Bait.
Yeah, there is the underground curtain call. That's why you can't see it, as OnFleek is dead. In the meantime, I was busy focusing on what Jhin was doing because he was putting on a show, but it was a face check from a Trundle, and things have fallen apart for SANDBOX.
Yeah, not really another way to put it, right? They're using their advantage in the bottom side. They have a ton of pick on their team with the Pantheon, at least, especially unseen in the enemy jungle. So OnFleek thought he would be safe. He was not. Zoe barely safe under her own turret with all the range coming out of Azir. And yeah, I mean, you just got to check this, right? You have to understand that Rascal, he's going to try to push this advantage as much as possible because of the lane dynamic. That you have to be playing safer than Summit is, but he's just refusing to so far. As that's just a face check. They were very deep in OnFleek's jungle, and he got caught out there.
Yeah, and Trundle's life going from bad to worse here just a little. As Clid, despite the fact that it's a little bit off theme with the Olaf, he's still very powerful at this stage of the game. Down in items just a tad, but he's going to finish off clearing out his Krug camp, probably go back and buy a bit of itemage. Rascal over here shoves in yet another wave. Rascal should be able, Summit should be able to go meet it. He'll be absolutely fine. However, he's not fine with the fact that this Renekton is so far ahead. He can't enter a lane that he is in. As Ruler, about taking this one down, and he will be able to after he gets a bit of a reload. 1 versus 2, probably not going to be enough here as the flash over from OnFleek. Summit going to be helping out, and it's going to be the Trundle that grabs the kill. Probably suboptimal, but that's fine. Beggars can't be choosers. And it's feeling like the position that SANDBOX are in this game.
Big shutdown, too. That would have been a nice 600 gold to give over to your GP.
Yeah.
Trundle, yes, I mean, he can buy some tank items, but, you know, he's definitely going to use that gold a lot worse than the GP will, so pretty unfortunate. They were just trying to make sure they killed him, which does happen from time to time, and that's one way to do it. Either you're going to play super passively and allow Trundle to help out your other 2 lanes, or you're going to have to call your teammates over, because we see how aggressively Rascal is playing. As Summit walks out, perfect bait, straight to the barrels. OnFleek's right there.
Yeah, I like the bait. Summit had set everything up for this moment, because he's been face-checking the Renekton over and over again, and therefore, he's going to take the bait. Speaking of bait, OnFleek, ooh, good pillar. Trying to put some space between himself and Clid.
Ooh, this is a nice bubble.
Yeah, going to connect. Not really going to find too much for it. Fate hops back over the wall. Cloud Drake going to be the soul here once again, much like in game number 1. As Rascal off to the side, thinking about a potential flank.
This could be our first official team fight of the game. I'm
very Cannon Barrage.
Yeah, no Cannon Barrage. I'm really curious to see how Jhin is going to do as well up against all the CC.
Looks like SANDBOX aren't going to be able to fight for this one, as the Cloud Drake is going to go down. So soul point now for Gen.G. Not the greatest soul in the game, but moving closer and closer to the coveted Elder Drake is certainly going to be a great thing for Gen.G, who really want to try and tidy this game up as quickly as possible. especially with the comp that they have. Gangplank, Caitlyn. Going to be a lot of scaling here for SANDBOX. And, you know, Trundle going to scale more than Olaf at the same time. And I think a lot can be said for what Morgana is going to offer. So definitely more of a late game opportunity for SANDBOX rather than Gen.G.
It feels like OnFleek's job right now is to stand next to GP so he can farm. It's like can't enter the lane 1v1, so either Trundle's there or he waits and farms under turret, but wanted to push in the wave so he can get it back. Obviously, nobody's going to be freezing here. This is the LCK.
No. And it's also very, very hot. I don't think
Yes.
freezing would be something anyone's
Super
even thinking
humid
about.
today. Didn't feel great here in Korea.
Nope. Okay, live.
Look
Over
at
the wall.
Summit's gold.
Yeah, he's got a fair bit.
Still behind Rascal, but he's keeping up.
OnFleek, pretty poor also. Actually, very similar to Clid. It's just, BDD's got a lot of money, and Rascal definitely has a lot of money. Still looking for his Black Cleaver, by the looks of things. Not necessarily the greatest item into the Gangplank, but he's not building for that. Doesn't feel like he has to, I could imagine. So we've got Rapid Fire Cannon done for Ruler. Rapid Fire Cannon just completed for Root at the same time. Doesn't have the luxury of the added Crit Cloak. But the closer we can get to Infinity Edge, the better everyone's going to feel if you're a SANDBOX fan. Same to be said for Ruler, I guess, on the other side. Exactly the same builds.
Yeah, and I wonder what the game plan here is from SANDBOX trying to come back into this game. Do you just sit back and wait until your scaling really comes online with GP at like 3-4 items and Caitlyn at 3-4 items? Or do you try to fight over a Cloud Drake Soul, which obviously it's going to give some value, but it's not like an Infernal Drake Soul or a Mountain Drake Soul at this point in time.
Oh, Root going to get tagged. That's a great Black Shield. So he loses a bit of his health bar, but otherwise he's going to be okay. Essence Reaver complete for the Gangplank. Don't know whether it'll be enough to save him from the gaping maw of the Crocodile, but it may help. His two items are more valuable than the Renektons. However, the Renekton, I believe, has... No, he doesn't have a level advantage either.
Huh.
So, you know, we'll have to see.
I guess that shutdown really helped them.
Yeah.
In terms of gold, but also XP. Just able to come back in a big way. We've been in a little bit of a action trough. It's the new word for lull state. OnFleek, what are you doing here?
He is, once again, roaming the jungle where he does not belong. He has Flash available. There's Subjugate as well. But he's not going to be able to even utilize the Flash this time around. Big curtain call damage is, oh my god, the Caitlyn just gets obliterated. Rascal finds his target and takes it down. Summit's going to have to flash away as well. As Cannon Barrage does a lot of work, and now the Pantheon's going to be taken out. Fate, this is the type of fight that he wants. Fate picks up a flash. Oh man, that would have hurt. Gen.G are going to back away, and it looks like a Baron is on their mind. They managed to take down the Caitlyn and also the jungler.
Ooh.
They do have a man advantage. OnFleek is going to respawn in 1 second's time, and Gen.G not going to bite off more than they can chew. I like the idea to back off the Baron. Not wanting to risk too much here in a game number 3 decider.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. Just let it be. You got more kills. Try to snowball off of that into Cloud Drake Soul. I would imagine, as OnFleek is so out of position with no flash, I have no idea what he's doing here. And then watch this Ruler is like, yeah, let me try to save you against Ragnarok. Root is totally left out to dry. He gets stunned. No Black Shield on him. He's going to die, as he was absolutely not expecting the Croc to come out of the jungle. Usually expect them in rivers and such.
Yep.
And he just gets totally obliterated. Did not have a support nearby. Summit not able to do anything. Definitely a broken up fight there. That was a little bit unfortunate for SANDBOX. But they're holding on. They're definitely holding on in this game, and that's really what they need to do.
Yep, Summit's found Clid. Meanwhile, the binding is going to connect onto the Pantheon, but life will be all right. Of course, can always just press the shield button. He'll be okay. So, Cloud Soul available for Gen.G. SANDBOX do have pretty decent positioning around it. Rascal. Everyone on SANDBOX looking for him. Curtain call comes in. Gorilla going to get slowed by the first one. Summit tagged by the second as life. Going to take a fair bit of damage there from Fate. His shield is now on cooldown. They're looking to try and turn, stop Rascal from getting a decent flank, but they've left Gorilla out to dry, and he will just be taken out. B2D grabs that first kill. Life is going to go golden as Cannon Barrage already used, so not going to be an option, and Root not sure what he was doing on the opposite side of the map, but he got a different memo than that of his team. That's going to mean that Cloud Soul will be delivered to Gen.G.
Yeah, they're going to pick this one up here. It looks like SANDBOX are desperately fighting over Cloud Soul and getting themselves way out of position. They would love to fight front to back throughout bubbles, bindings, barrels.
How many more B words?
Yeah, the barrages.
Beanbags.
Yes. Well,
maybe not.
Nobody's got, no hacky sack champion just yet. Maybe in the future.
One day.
But they just
feel like
totally...
Echo might play some hacky sack.
Maybe, yeah. I guess he would be the one.
I don't know why. I feel like he's just the right age for hacky sack. As in goes B2D, he's going to scoop out OnFleek, who's just
Thankfully, he got that blue, right?
Yeah, what about those the isolated death stats? I think OnFleek definitely boosting his this game.
He's boosting something. As we're going into the replay here, you can see that Fate a little bit out of position, takes the plant over to join his team and gets Gorilla in so much trouble. Gorilla has to use the Black Shield onto Fate. There's a nice man drop as all three of them are isolated. Root has to flash into an awkward spot. Just a really broken up, awkward fight. That you can see that SANDBOX have tools. They have a lot of damage. Yeah, but that was not the way to use it. That was not the fight you were looking for. And yeah, definitely not fought well in that one, as they also gave another free kill and a blue over the side of Gen.G, who now have Baron for 2 minutes and would like to end this game before the next 10 minutes.
Zoe going to go back and I think complete Rabadon's Death Cap, but has 0 penetration at the moment, so basically needs a Void Staff before he's actually going to be doing relevant damage, and I don't know whether he's going to be given enough time to get towards it. 7,000 gold the lead. Baron secured by Gen.G very freely. And that's a snare onto OnFleek, who is not a tank. He is absolutely not. He's taking way too much damage. Rascal splitting on the bottom side, very easily capable of taking down the inner turret by himself. As Summit has no right to go up against the Crocodile. He's too scary. And a curtain call comes in just to buy them space to take down the inhibitor turret. Really nicely played from Gen.G. The last one does go wide, but they have taken down the turret here as there's the Emperor's Divide onto 3. Root once again going to be taken down. That's 3 team fights in a row without the Caitlyn. And SANDBOX are going to be swept up. A double kill for Clid as there's the Jhin damage that we've been waiting for. And Fate, he's going to get snared up. There's the flash forward, but he does go golden, and the Pantheon is going to be taken down. But now there's a gigantic Crocolisk underneath the turret. And Gen.G will be able to put a pin in it at 27 minutes. A much better performance in games 2 and 3, but unfortunately, I feel like SANDBOX had the right idea out of the gate, but the execution, 2 games in a row, just didn't work out.
Yeah, there you go. Down goes the Nexus, and Gen.G will pick it up. They eventually